I have gotten my NIV Bible. I just haven't gotten it out of the mail yet. So I'm still using the Douay Reams. So let's go. Genesis chapter 4. And Adam knew his wife Eve, who conceived and brought forth Cain, and saying, I have gotten a man through God. They had sex, people. I don't know why they can't say they just had sex. It's not like it's a dirty word, but anyway, they had sex. And again, she brought forth his brother Abel. And Abel was a shepherd, and Cain was a husbandman. Meaning Cain was basically a farmer. And it came to pass, after many days, that Cain offered of the fruits of the earth gifts to the Lord. And also, Abel also offered of the firstlings of his flock and of their fat. And the Lord had respect to Abel and his offerings. But to Cain and to his offerings he had no respect. And Cain was exceedingly angry, and his countenance fell. And the Lord said to him, Why art thou angry? And why is thy countenance fallen? If thou do well, shalt thou not receive? But if ill, shalt not sin forthwith be present at the door. But the lust thereof shall be under thee, and thou shalt have dominion over it. And that was verses 1 through 7. Okay, so, if you read the Bible on its own terms, this is before God made any kind of, you've got to make these kind of offerings to me and blah, 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 blah. Okay? If you read the Bible on its own terms, apologists are going to try to insert God wanted sheep and lambs and all this and that and all this other kind of crap, which doesn't make any sense, because why should a lamb have to die because of something you did? Doesn't make any sense at all, but there it is. Sorry. At any rate, God hasn't even said, I want lambs. God hasn't said that at all. As if you read the chapter, if you just read it without any preconceptions, it says basically Cain and Abel came and gave God gifts out of the goodness of their heart. And God said, yeah, I like Abel's gift because it's a sheep and I like blood, but I don't like Cain's gift because it doesn't have any blood in it. Basically, if you think about it, it's what God is saying in this chapter. Because let's face it, he's a blood god. Verse 8. And Cain said to Abel his brother, Let us go forth abroad. And when they were in the field, Cain rose up against his brother Abel and slew him. And the Lord said to Cain, Where is thy brother Abel? And he answered, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said to him, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth to me from the earth. Okay, so let's stop there. That was verse 10. First of all, it does say that Cain rose up against his brother Abel and slew him. However, it does not say that Cain murdered Abel. Now, this is important, because if you believe the Bible, which I often make a point of saying in my channel that I don't, but if you believe the Bible, this is the very first time anybody has ever been killed. First time. So, if you take this at face value, it's not saying that Cain got it in his heart, in his mind to kill Abel and went ahead and killed him. That's not what it's saying. It's saying Cain rose up. Maybe Cain was angry at Abel. You know, because why does God have respect for your offering and not for my offering? Which is a very valid point. If you look at it at face value, it's a very valid point of why did God have respect for Abel's offering and not Cain's offering. So they basically had a fight, which, let's face it, every single sibling pair has fights. I have a brother. When we were younger, we had fights. Okay? And Cain rose up against his brother Abel and slew him. So, it sounds like they had a fight. Okay. It doesn't say how he killed him. For all we know, he pushed him, and Abel cracked his head on a rock. And that's how he died. That's not murder by anybody's definition. Okay? But anyway, that is how Christians will read this verse, that Cain murdered his brother. It does not say that, which is my point. They read stuff in that the Bible does not say. Let's go on. Verse 9. And the Lord said to Cain, "Where is thy brother Abel?" And he answered, "I know not, am I my brother's keeper?" Most of us know that verse. Verse 11. Now therefore cursed shalt thou be upon the earth, which hath opened up her mouth and received the blood of thy brother at thy hand. Wow. Elle likes cursing things a lot. Cursed his parents, kicked them out of Eden so they didn't have access to the tree of life, which is, according to Genesis, which is why we die, because we don't have access to the tree of life. The Jews have no concept of original sin, period. Wow, this God likes cursing people. When thou shalt till it, it shall not yield to thee its fruit. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be upon the earth. And Cain said to the Lord, my iniquity is greater than that I may deserve pardon. But behold, thou dost cast me out this day from the face of the earth, and I shall be hidden from thy face, and I shall be a vagabond and a fugitive on the earth. Everyone, therefore, that findeth me shall kill me. This is verse 14. Now this is interesting, and this is a point that Christians just kind of, skate over. He's saying, this is Genesis 4:14. And if you believe the Bible literally, there are literally only 3 people on the face of the earth right now. And that is Adam, Eve, and Cain. But verse 14 says quite clearly that there are other people on the earth. Where did these other people come from? See, you gotta think. You gotta think. Your Christian leaders don't want you to think. Because you'll end up with questions that they can't answer. And they don't want that. Because if you start thinking, you're going to think, wow, this is all just a bunch of bullshit. Pardon my French. Verse 15. And the Lord said to him, no, it shall not be so. So God's actually saying, yeah, there are other people on earth besides Adam, Eve, and Cain. But whosoever shall kill Cain shall be punished sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, that whosoever found him should not kill him. And Cain went out from the face of the Lord, and dwelt as a fugitive on the earth at the east side of Eden. Okay, so verse 17. And this is another problematic verse for apologists and Christian leaders. And Cain knew his wife. Where did Cain get his wife? According to the Bible, literally there are three people on the face of the earth. Adam, Eve, and Cain. Where did Cain get his wife? And she conceived and brought forth Hinnock. And he built a city and called the name thereof by the name of his son Hinnock. And Hinnock begat Irad, blah, 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 blah. And there's a whole bunch of genealogy here. I'm not going to go through it all. You can read it on your own. It's boring. I'm going to pick up on verse 23. And Lamech said to his wives, Ada and Selah, hear my voice, you wives of Lamech, hearken to my speech, for I have slain a man to my wounding of myself, and a stripling to my own bruising. Sevenfold vengeance shall be taken for Cain, but for Lamech 70 times sevenfold. Adam also knew his wife again, and she brought forth a son, and called his name Seth, saying, God hath given another seed for Abel, whom Cain slew. But to Seth also was born a son, whom he called Enos. And this man began to call upon the name of the Lord. So that's the end of chapter 4. Like I said, you got to think about these things. Where did Seth get his wife from? Where did Cain get his wife from? Why was Cain afraid of other people when, according to Christian biblical literalists, the only three people on earth were Adam, Eve, and Cain? It doesn't make sense. And I'll cover this later. I'm just giving, like I said earlier in one of my other live streams, within my live streams, I'm just giving my 21st century American view of what the chapter says. So these are just my views. This has nothing to do with, scholars or anything else. These are just my views. And so, you've got to, but that doesn't mean that my views are invalid. If you think about these things long enough, you're going to come to the conclusion that, yeah, this stuff really doesn't make any sense at all. So anyway, that's all I got for you today. So hit that subscribe button and hit the like button, and I'll see you guys next time.